What's good, YouTube? Are you trying to build a board with 10 interruptions, double omni negates, and utilizing the most recent tier 1 meta deck that's most likely going to be tier 1 for at least a year if the OCG is any indication? Well, Yummy is the exact deck you're looking for because this deck creates some crazy end boards. They don't look like they are a lot, but your opponent's turn ends up becoming your turn. Basically, this deck makes it so your opponent is unable to do anything. Again, 10 interruptions with just one single card. And the best thing about this deck, aside from being able to run 20 non-engine cards in your deck, it has 17 one card starters. It's absolutely insane. And if you factor in, this is technically kind of a budget tier 1 meta deck. Almost every single card in here is pretty much a penny on TCG Player, except the 3 main cards, which are $10, around $10 each. So you need 3 of them, obviously. So it's 30, 60, 90, and then you need 3 of the Link 1, which is another 30. So for $120, if you have the rest of the hand traps, you can pretty much have the best deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! One of the best decks. I'd say it's a top 3 deck. Definitely up there with Malice and Vanquish Soul. But anyways, I'm going to show you what happens when you just draw one of the 17 one-card starters. In this case, we're going to go ahead and utilize Cupsy Yummy. And then again, we are playing 20 non-engine slots, so more than likely you're going to have a ton of hand traps. So aside from the 10 interruptions, you might have another 1 to 4 interruptions. So we can technically get upwards up to 14 interruptions with one single hand. So we're just gonna go ahead, normal summon our Cupsy Yummy. And again, this is the first of my series of Yummy for Dummies. I did honestly just come back into Yu-Gi-Oh! 5 months ago. So if I'm able to learn this deck, I feel like hopefully you guys are gonna be able to at least kind of grasp the concept of what the deck can do. The combos are really long, but honestly very linear as well once you get the hang of them. So we're gonna go ahead and start off with our Cupsy Yummy, and we're gonna go ahead and normal summon him. So Cupsy Yummy is gonna go ahead and grab us our Yummy Surprise straight from the deck. Then we can go ahead and link off our Cupsy Yummy into our Link 1. Yes, this deck does utilize a Link 1, aka it is most likely going to be banned in the future if the past is any indication. Hint, hint, prank kids, RIP. Yummy Snatchy set face up on the field. And then Yummy Snatchy is going to go ahead and put our Mignon field spell face up on our side of the field. Then because we control a Link 1 monster, we can go ahead and activate the field spell to revive our Cupsy Yummy. So he gets revived to the field. Another cool thing that our deck can do, basically the Yummy Synchro cards, they state for this card Synchro Summon, you can treat one Link 1 monster you control as a level 1 tuner. So we're gonna go ahead and utilize our Link 1 as a level 1 tuner, and then our Cupsy, we're gonna go ahead and use both of those and go into our Cupsy Yummy Way. Yummy Way can then go ahead and activate and add us 2 Yummy cards from our deck to our hand, and then we have to discard a card. So we're gonna go ahead and add both of these, then we can just go ahead and discard one of our blanks. So we added our Lollipop Yummy and our Cookie Yummy. And then because we control a level 2 Synchro monster, we can go ahead and special summon our Cookie Yummy directly from our hand. Then we're gonna go ahead and go into another Snatchy utilizing our Cupsy Yummy Way. That way we basically have another tuner on our field. Then we can go ahead and utilize both of these and go into our other Synchro monster, Lollipop Yummy Way. And then on summon, we can go ahead and special summon 2 monsters from our graveyard. So we're gonna go ahead and get our Cookie and our Cupsy. They both get special summoned back to the field because of our Lollipop Yummy Way. So he has a tuner as well, so we can go ahead and utilize him, and it doesn't really matter of these two, just one of their other bodies to go into our Martial Metal Marcher. So we get special summoned. Then on summon, he's gonna go ahead and special summon a tuner from our graveyard, so we can go ahead and special summon our Synchro Lollipop. So as you can see, the deck kind of pretty much link climbs in a way, just with Synchro monsters and not links. It's pretty crazy, honestly, the amount of special summoning that it can do, and pretty much the choke points of the deck. It doesn't really have choke points because a lot of the monsters, even if you do somehow negate one of them, you're just kind of throwing your hand traps away because they have so many other in-engine ways to kind of link climb and keep special summoning and spamming the board as well. So from here, we're going to go ahead and use our Martial Metal Marcher and the other Cupsy Yummy we still had on the field. And that's going to go ahead and go into our first classic card, Herald of the Arclight, our first Omni Negate. He's also a walking Macrocosmos as well. In case you don't know, any monster sent from the hand or main deck to the graveyard is banished instead. So pretty cool effect, pretty cool floodgate that the deck is able to utilize on top of it being an Omni Negate. So we're going to go ahead and special summon him to the field. And then from here again, all of our cards are able to special summon themselves. So if you control a Link 1 monster or a level 2 Synchro monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. So we're going to go ahead and special summon our Lollipop Yummy. Then we're going to go ahead and do another Link 1, putting our Lollipop into the graveyard, going into another Yummy Snatchy. So we still have 3 cards in hand. We'd probably go ahead and set our Yummy Surprise, and then it doesn't seem like much. We have a Floodgate / Omni Negate, 2 pretty much dead bodies that it seems like 3 cards in hand, and they know we added our Yummy Surprise, which we're going to go ahead and set right here. So again, the deck does remind me a lot of Malice because you do these crazy long combos and it doesn't really seem like you end on a lot. Again, very similar with Malice, where the end board seems like there's 1 negate, possibly 2. Malice has a few more cards in hand because they're able to draw a lot, but this deck's interruptions all come on your opponent's turn. So after we pass turn to our opponent, pretty much whenever you decide fit, we can go ahead and utilize the quick effect of our Yummy Snatchy, because this stays once per chain during the main phase or your opponent's battle phase. Quick effect, you can pay 100 life points immediately after this effect resolves. Synchro summon using monsters you control as material, including a Yummy monster. So obviously we can go ahead and utilize him and our Lollipo Yummy that is on the field. And we're gonna go ahead and use those 2 to go into our Cookie Yummy Way. So this is the first time we're utilizing him. And we're using it because if this card is synchro summon, you can target up to 2 monsters on the field, change them to face down defense position. Then when your opponent activates a card effect, quick effect, you can return this card to the extra deck, special summon up to 2 Yummy monsters from the graveyard. So we're gonna go ahead, special summon him. He can go ahead and turn 2 of your opponent's monsters face down, so he Book-a-Moons them. That's 2 interruptions right there. They're going to pretty much hopefully have 2 dead bodies on the field. That's the first interruption. And then like I mentioned, not only does he have the Book-a-Moon effect, but he has a second effect because of course he does all tier 1 unfair decks do. So right when our opponent does do something, we can go ahead and chain this. He's going to go ahead and return himself to the extra deck. And we're going to go ahead and special summon our Cupsy Yummy Way and our Cookie Yummy. So they get special summoned back to the field thanks to our Cookie Yummy Way. And then since Cookie was special summoned by a Synchro Monster's effect, you can go ahead and target 1 monster your opponent controls and destroy it. So that's interruption 3. So we've already done 2 Book-a-Moons. Now we get a pop with Cookie, and we honestly haven't even begun yet. On top of the 3 cards we already have in hand, those 3 disruptions right there, plus a hand trap is pretty much enough to stop most rogue decks. They pretty much can't really compete with this deck. But again, we have not even begun, and plus we more than likely would have at least more than 1 hand trap on top of our Yummy Surprise still set here. So now we're going to go ahead and wait till our opponent to hopefully do something else. Then we can go ahead and activate our Cupsy Yummy Way, because of course he has another quick effect as well. When your opponent activates a card effect, quick effect, you can return this card to the extra deck, special summon up to 2 Yummy monsters from your graveyard. So Cupsy Yummy Way is going to go ahead and bounce himself, return himself to the extra deck, and then he's going to go ahead and go into our Yummy Snatchy and our Lollipo Yummy Way. So they get special summoned to the field. Then on special summon, once again, he gets to put a field spell on our side of the field. So we're going to go ahead and utilize the other field spell that we have. This is the amusement one, Akrui. Maybe if you have better reading comprehension skills than I do, you can pronounce that better than I do. But we're going to go ahead and put that face up on our side of the field. Lollipo can then go ahead and, of course, activate his other quick effect. When your opponent activates a card effect, quick effect, you can return this card to the extra deck and special summon up to 2 Yummy monsters from your graveyard. So Lollipo can then bounce itself back into the extra deck and special summon. So we're able to go into a Cupsy Yummy and then another Yummy Snatchy and then Cupsy Yummy. On special summon, of course, has another effect. So we're going to go ahead and get a draw. We got the draw from Cupsy Yummy. Because when he is special summoned, we also get a draw because, of course, all of these cards have extra bonus effects. We are then going to go ahead and utilize our Yummy Snatchy to synchro summon using Snatchy and Cupsy and go into our Synchro Lollipo Yummy Way. So we can go ahead and utilize both of these 2. Okay, so we get special summon. From here, we're going to go ahead and do Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2, because when we do synchro summon, we can utilize our field spell to pop any card our opponent controls. Then our Yummy Way, because he was synchro summoned, gets a special summon 2 Yummy cards from our graveyard. So he's going to go ahead and special summon 2 more cards. Their effects are negated, but it doesn't really matter because we're building a wall of monsters anyways. Then just in case our opponent hasn't scooped yet, we can go ahead and utilize Snatchy and use him, our Yummy Way, and then it doesn't really matter any of our other bodies. And they can go into another Herald of Arclight for another Omni Negate. And just in case they did out the other Floodgate, we'd have another Floodgate effect on the field. Again, I'm losing count of the interruptions, but that is a lot of interruptions. And if all those interruptions still wasn't enough, we have our Yummy Surprise, which is a quick play spell. We can go ahead and target 2 Light Beast monsters you control and 2 cards your opponent controls and return them to the hand. So that is another form of interruption that does 2 interruptions basically. So we can go ahead and put these 2 back to our hand for follow-up, and then we go ahead and return 2 cards our opponent controls back to their hand. So as you can see, a ton of interruptions and crazy layered interruptions as well. And now we have 6 cards in our hand. We have 2 Omni Negates on board / Floodgates, a graveyard full of Yummy monsters. One thing I am kind of curious about is how this deck goes for game, because as you can see, a lot of their attacks are 0. Herald of Arclight 600, 600, going through our graveyard, 1200, 600, 500. I haven't really seen too much gameplay, but yeah, I haven't seen if there's any like OTK lines, not OTK lines, just even going for game. I feel like the best way this deck does go for game is pretty much either boring your opponent to death with the long combos, or pretty much hoping that they scoop with the amount of interruptions we do. But that's pretty much it. If you guys want to see more of the Yummy for Dummies series and see more combos, if you guys want to see the Sky Striker lines, obviously I am a Sky Striker fan, so of course I know those lines as well. Pretty much doing the same thing that we just did. However, the Sky Striker cards, mainly Engage and Hornet Drones, are 1-card starters as well. So if that is something you guys are interested in, let me know, leave a comment. Please subscribe if you aren't. And again, if you want to see more of the Yummy deck or of the deck profile or more combos, let me know. But I think that's all I got for you guys today. I'll catch you guys in the next video.